ecstasy. No one else, it seems, could make me care. What is left is just a memory that's so empty and so unfair. Melody, I'll write another melody, and this time from the start you'll see I'll write it from the heart, and words that say come to me, stay with me. Won't you stay with me? No one else could fill my life with ecstasy. No one else, it seems, could make me care. What is left is just a memory that's so empty and so unfair. Melody, I'll write another melody, and this time from the start you'll see I'll write it from the heart, and words that say come to me, words that say come to me, stay with me. Won't you stay with me? Stay with me.
It's lunchtime and the Brooklyn Cafe is open for business. Live from the Amp Media Studios, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought and take a front row seat in the Brooklyn Cafe and get ready to enjoy some humor and hot topics. It's time to get a healthy serving of hope and happiness to help your day go by with a smile. Your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S., are ready to talk about food, health, dating, or just plain dream making. If you have a story to share, movie review, restaurant critique, or just a coincidental thing that happened to you, call in toll free 888-994-4995, Studio A right now. Sit back and enjoy your lunch break at the Brooklyn Cafe. Here are your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S.
Welcome to the Brooklyn Cafe and Arena for exhausting week.
Great.
Friday is here. Huh?
Nice week.
It's okay.
So look how we get to end our week, though.
Yeah, I was slammed with Mrs. Good news over there.
We got good news, we got aliens, we got angels, we've got spirituality.
We got aliens and
Medicare
angels.
music.
You got all
It's
that?
always nice to go into a weekend knowing that Russ and Sally are here and they got our back,
True that.
right?
It's always
think
nice.
about that.
We have your back.
Our reinforcers are here. The reinforcement, you're all in good hands. Remember the Allstate commercial?
I remember that.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
I remember
You're in
that.
good hands with Russ and Sally. Right?
Yes. I'm excited because as Teddy's putting it away, we are ready to launch our remote pack. You're going to be using it this Wednesday for Sarah Spiritual up in Okeechobee. And then on July 21, we're going up to the movies at Del Rey. They called today. They got 4 gigs for us. They heard all about what we're going to be doing up there. There's going to be pay-per-view. There's going to be all sorts of music, and did I say music?
I heard you're doing a second one the end of August.
try 4.
Oh, okay.
We're doing 4. I think I'm going to be so exhausted, I'm going to have somebody else fill in for me. That's too many. I can't talk that much.
And where are my ducks? Really? When I need them.
I scattered them away from you on purpose.
You're not going anywhere, you know, between the
I'm
three
not
of you
going
guys, you
anywhere.
guys
It's
aren't
just,
going
my
anywhere.
contract has to stipulate I need a timeout.
Is that it? I don't think
Yeah,
so.
I'm very tired.
No time for timeouts.
I'm my voice is, I'm losing it. I very raspy. Like California, raspy voice.
She got a great voice, Rachel, I gotta tell you. I wanna hear her do a voiceover.
We should do. I think that they are beginning to work. What was that? No, we're good. They're beginning to work. There's all sorts of stuff happening over there. Beginning to work into the movie set. Are we going to do a movie?
We've had 2 people that are now interested in movies. One is Sally, and the other one was Clem Caserta, who was in.
We're shooting him Tuesday, no? That should be fun. Tuesday, you got to be here, guys, to meet Mr. You remember The Bronx Tale, the movie The Bronx Tale, or?
Oh, we got something to do Tuesday. I'm going to have to cancel what I have to do.
Yes,
this is
you do,
more
'cause
important.
You got to meet this guy. This guy, he's like Al Pacino and
He'll be here
all
Tuesday?
mixed up into one. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Clem
Jimmy
Caserta.
Whispers was his name, right? So was that
Jimmy-
his character in the movie?
Jimmy Whispers. Yes.
The Bronx Tale?
Yeah.
I gotta watch it.
Man, I saw, it's really funny because all those guys made all those mobster movies, like the guy, what is his name? Gaddafi that died from,
James Gandolfini?
yeah,
Gandolfini, yeah.
he died. He knew all those guys. He didn't take a role in that because he didn't want to, which is really unusual. $50,000 an episode they pay you for that, to be an extra.
As an extra or speaking part?
It's an extra.
Wow.
It's a lot of
That's
moolah
a good-
moolah.
That's a good gig.
You ain't lying.
You
Hey,
know what happens? You never know who's making movies, so you gotta be careful. What do you always say? People you mess up with on the way up are the same
people that you meet on the way up are the same people you meet on the way down. But
So
can
be
you
nice.
imagine they invite you to do a movie, right, with some of the most famous actors anywhere, and I say, let's go.
Be nice.
I don't want to be nice. I don't worry nothing. Let's go. Whatever happens, happens.
We got Sally and Russ with us because it's Friday and it's time to have Sally and Russ with us.
Oh,
Then we got Medicare Missy and Daniela in the house today. Happens to be National Pink Day.
Look,
By
they came
coincidence,
dressed.
The ladies are all dressed in pink.
Did you do that on purpose?
Actually,
I'm wearing
no,
black.
just meant to be, I guess.
Pretty in pink. Remember that movie?
That was,
Molly Ringwald and Ducky
yeah,
Boy.
I
Ducky
remember
Boy was
that.
here on one of your other shows, wasn't he?
yes, he was.
Does he still look like Ducky Boy?
He looks like a duck.
Like
I
an
don't know
old
about the
ducky
ducky.
boy.
The feathers had gotten long.
You know, the movies, the classics of when we were growing up, back in the day.
It wasn't something that I saw it. I wasn't very
Pretty
happy
in
with
Pink,
it.
it was
Yeah.
like Last American Virgin. It was just those iconic movies when we were growing up.
They had the lady in
You
there.
were
What's her
old-
name?
Are older than me.
What's the
Molly
name?
Ringwald.
Yeah, I remember. I wasn't too thrilled. I mean, she's a great actress. Not in that role. Moving on.
Moving on.
Don't get me in any more
Everyone,
trouble.
Give us a call. Let us know how your week is. 888-994-4995. You want to start with our reinforcers? You want to start with Missy?
Missy.
Go right into Medicare?
Missy, because when I get over here, I got to go take some aspirins and stuff. Because the more that things are happening lately, if you look on the news, some of the stuff besides the sub and all that, other things that are happening in the air, and they talk about it months ago. And they talk about things that are happening. And the more that things begin to happen, the more I'm beginning to get a little worried.
Sally comes with a message for us, and now she's got the message for us. She says,
Well, it was
"It's
for
not
me
you,
too."
It's for me.
It was for me, but that's why they gave it for me. But it's for you guys too, so.
Let's go over there. Let's go
Freddie.
let's go
Freddie.
on the ground first, and then we'll go into the atmosphere over here.
Say, 'cause Missy and Medicare, it's going to keep me grounded. Once we go over here, I'm back up to the ethereal.
Oh, jeez, Louise. I'm going to sit over there.
Missy Mastix Kirby was a friend that Russ brought in the other day during our 7-year anniversary party. Russ knows everybody,
Everybody.
in town.
Everybody. This guy is like, he knows Oprah. Why don't you call one day Oprah and ask her just to say hi on the air? Because everybody says, yeah, he knows, and they don't know nobody. That's not true. This guy knows everybody.
Knows a lot of people.
He does.
And Medicare, apparently, it's still open enrollment through July, right? Because of the hurricane in Florida?
There's a hurricane SEP, so a lot of the carriers, a lot of the Medicare carriers are allowing people, if they didn't change during the annual election period or the open enrollment period, to change one time.
So why don't they just leave the window open? Why do they have to close it?
That's a good question. Well, I guess it would be, it's chaos enough. So my busy season, like my tax season, is October 15th to December 7th. I have no life. I mean, all the seniors, they want to know what new 2024 plans are out. They want me to be in their homes. They want me to compare their doctors, their medications, to make sure that the doctors are still in the plan. And that's why I brought Daniela with me 2 years ago, because I wasn't able to be out in the field helping seniors talk about the insurance without doing the research behind it. So there's a lot of moving parts that go, and I don't think that it would be able to be all year round. It's too much.
Too much?
For Medicare, there's straight Medicare, right? Government, we know we pay Social Security, Medicare, and that's what everyone thinks they're entitled to. That's going to cover all of their medical bills over the age of 65, assuming, right? You go with Medicare at 65. Not so true, is it?
There's different instances where people wouldn't take Medicare at 65 if they're still working and they're on a group plan, if it's over 20 employees. If it's under 20 employees, then they need to take it, or they could get penalized. There's a man I signed up the other day.
Back up a second.
Oh, sorry.
So, if you're in a group plan over 20 employees, you can stay with your private insurance
You can.
at 65.
And
If
not
it's
take
under
Part B.
60 employees, to under 20 employees and you're 65, you work for yourself, you've got a small group coverage, you have to take Medicare at 65?
It has to be what's considered qualified coverage, and qualified coverage has to be a group that's 20 or more.
Did you know that?
But hold on, you have to be on a plan, or you have to register with 65 and over.
Part A is free. That's your hospital coverage, as long as you work 10 years or 40 quarters and you paid into Social Security.
Okay.
But Part B, if your income is under 94,000 and you're a single person, 194 as a married person, that costs $164.90 a month. And but some people opt not to take Medicare Part B because they have a good plan with their employer. But if that employer is a small employer, Medicare doesn't recognize that as qualified coverage. So you
What?
right.
So you have to
not know.
pay that 194 or whatever? it is?
165 basically.
So you're forced to pay it because his coverage doesn't have 20 people or more?
But a lot of times it makes sense, because when I sit down and I do a comparison, a lot of these group plans have
Or
high
more.
deductibles. They're having money taken out of their paycheck. Their co-pays are higher. And if they're not able to afford original Medicare with a Medicare supplement and a drug plan, then the Medicare Advantage plans are a great alternative, because they have PPOs and HMOs. And in Florida, all the plans have no monthly premium. So all you have to do is pay for your Medicare Part B, and then you get all these wonderful benefits on the Advantage plans. You get dental, vision, hearing, over the counter, a gym membership, and then they have some plans that are called give back plans. Those plans will pay part of your Part B premium back to you. In fact, one of the carriers, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but one of the carriers, one of the major ones, is the first one that came out with a PPO, and it pays the full $164.90 back into their Social Security check every month.
Okay, but then let me ask you the real deal. How's the coverage? I mean, is the doctor going to look in my ear and here's an aspirin, goodbye, or are they going to be, you're going to get full benefit, good coverage?
It's a typical PPO. You do not have to get a referral like most HMOs. It's the secret is to make sure that your providers that you want to keep take the plan.
It's not the Affordable Care Act. You can keep your doctors.
That's what I was alluding to.
Yeah.
It's I know about
PPOs
that
have
one.
in-network and out-of-network coverage, and this is not just Medicare, it's any major medical plan. If you are going to go out-of-network, though, you're going to pay a higher premium.
Right.
But the doctor also has to agree to take out-of-network benefits, and that sometimes happens where the doctor says, no, I'm not going to take it. So you would have to then pay the bill and get reimbursed by the carrier.
Well, I got 9 years to pay into the system then.
I got less than that.
I know.
I got 4. And count,
But you've paid into the system.
how do I pay into the system?
If you've worked 40 quarters and you've paid Social Security tax and Medicare out of your paycheck for 40 quarters or for 10 years out of your lifetime, you've got benefits.
Yeah, so do you.
No,
I mean, no.
I didn't
You work
work,
for your dad,
but not for 40 quarters.
or you have
Not
to be
for
in
10
one
years.
place?
So here's what everyone should do. Very important that
No,
you
I
make
got to get working.
a Social Security account. Go on ssa.gov, make an account, a username and a password, and see where you're at. Look and see what your benefits would be if you retired at 62, if you waited until 65, or you waited until full retirement age at 70. So that's a very good idea to do. Also, there's a ton of fraud going on. I used to be able to help people sign up for Medicare just by going on medicare.gov, and we just got it. Now it redirects to the Social Security account. So everyone that I help sign up for Medicare, they have to have a ssa.gov account.
It's interesting because I'm thinking of my local alien over here. She's from England. You can eat your chocolate.
No, I'll wait.
No, she's worked her whole life. But if she didn't work 10 years here or 40 quarters
No, I had my 40 quarters in.
here in
yeah.
the States, then you're good.
Yeah.
I can't believe you don't have 40 quarters.
Dawn, yeah. No, I had mine because I worked here for many years.
I got to
Of course
look.
you do. Everybody does.
Only if you work for a living,
You worked. You worked for your father.
but not for 10, maybe.
Of course you did. You know.
I got to look. I don't think it was for 10 years. Maybe it was.
Aye. Okay, so let me get this right, because now
Can you
she has-
believe that?
You're scaring me. That's all I gotta tell you. So I call you and we do this, and then you give me plans and ideas to supplement what I need to get going. Even at the age of 61, you can help people get this whole thing established the right way.
I wouldn't start with Medicare at 61, although there is a man that I helped yesterday. He is on disability, so you have to be on disability 24 months, and then you're eligible for Medicare. So even though he put his application in 24 months, they go back and they say, okay, you've been approved now, and now you're allowed to have Medicare. So even though he's 58 years old, he chose a Medicare Advantage plan. I think he chose, what did he choose? Humana. He chose the Humana Give Back plan.
Which pays for everything. I heard.
Pays the Part B. You have a $40 specialist copay, a zero copay for primary, and then you get medications, you get everything included.
So you guys set it up where somebody comes in and you give them the chance, the alternatives of what they can pick, whatever is best suited for them.
Yeah, my own mother, she's 86. She's still driving her Prius around Boca. I have her on original Medicare and a supplement. Now, when I turn 65, that's probably the route I'm going to go. There's a little less red tape. It's not the cheapest route because you have to pay for Part B, you have to pay for your supplement, and then you have to pay for your drug plan. You're not getting all the fluff. You're not getting the free gym membership. You're not getting over-the-counter and dental and vision and hearing. But I want the freedom and flexibility to go to any doctor or hospital. So that's, you pay a little extra for that, but
But
and
you
when
have
you
the
turn
freedom.
65, it doesn't matter what your health is, you get a freebie. No health questions asked. You can go on a Medicare supplement.
And they can't turn you down.
They cannot turn you down.
But you got to pay,
You have to pay for a supplement.
Because she wants to pick her own doctors.
which makes sense. But then there are people who are very happy with Humana or other companies. Now, Humana, I think, has a bad rap. They had a bad rap for Humana Medicare Advantage. But I hear they're getting much better, and that bad rap is old gossip. And now they're doing give backs. So you have a lot of promotions. Remember, we had those guys in here. And Humana was really, really a great company, is a great company for people to choose.
I tell people the company is as great as the one that takes your doctors
True.
and your hospitals that you want, because hey, if you have a doctor you love and he doesn't take the plan, then how good is
How
the
good
plan?
is the plan?
And then with Advantage plans, you're kind of renting it. I tell people you're renting it because if a doctor chooses, and they can choose to go out of network at any moment, then you're you're stuck on it if it's the lock-in period for Medicare Advantage until the open enrollment, and then you can switch.
So that's what the switch is all about. People can switch from one carrier to another, and you have to do it within a certain period of time.
Typically, during annual election period from October 15th, December 7th, they can shop. It's the last application that's in on December 7th that starts January 1st. Then the government brought back 3 years ago the OEP, which stands for the open enrollment period, and that allows you from January 1st to March 31st to make one change. Maybe your doctor decided to come out of the network. Maybe you found out that one of the medications that you're taking is really expensive on the formulary. Maybe you decide that, you know what, I don't like Medicare Advantage. I'm just going to go ahead and spend the money and see if I can qualify for a Medicare supplement. So that gives you that option. And normally, after, let's see, March, after April 1st, that's when the lock-in period starts. And then you can't switch again or talk about switching until October 15th.
And I think with some of the plans, are they still capitated? Where the doctors get paid, I want to say per patient, even if the patient doesn't come in, which is why I'm thinking the
On
enrollment
HMOs.
period has to close. Because say the doctor has 30 patients in March that he's going to get paid on. People change all the time. There's no way to track a number of heads or patients to get paid on. They're playing the odds. But those
Very
30
good point,
patients
Dawn.
aren't going to be coming in every day
Yeah.
for care, or even once a month, is what I'm thinking.
So during COVID, this is why more doctors are opening up their eyes to accepting the HMO plans. Because during COVID, the doctors that took the HMOs, their paychecks were pretty level. But the doctors that were fee for service, a lot of them, you know, their income suffered.
It seems like there's, again, this great divide. There's your Medicare HMO supplements, and then there's the private concierge doctors, right? Those that can afford everything. Those that are on a more fixed income have to do the other way. And then all these other doctors and patients are sort of in this middle gap.
Isn't a doctor a doctor? I mean, if I got to get if I got to get an operation, I got to get I don't know, what's this thing over here? Appendix out, like what happened to Laura. Do I got to go to a specific appendix doctor, or do I just go to a surgeon?
Well, you got to go to a surgeon that takes your plan. Unless it's an emergency like Laura, and then who's ever on call does it.
Who's ever on call, right? Even though he's
When
not
you
a
have
surgeon.
an emergency,
It's
Yeah.
different.
you could be anywhere in the country. These plans have to cover you,
Right.
especially if it's life-threatening.
Well, thank you. I was just wondering.
But if you go in for, say, something with your heart, you got to make sure that your doctor is on the plan, or you're going to be paying tens of thousands of dollars. Or even your general internist, just your regular routine checkup.
Jeez Louise.
But I
don't
think the
get
biggest
sick.
thing is the medication.
The pills?
That, I think, is the biggest thing. Because if you're relatively healthy and stable and you go to your doctors and here's your $40 copay, and we're good. But if you're on monthly, if you're on 5, 10, 20 meds like people are on, and your meds aren't covered by your plan, you know what that's going to cost. That's what people can't afford.
So I'm glad you said that, because I help a lot of people with that issue. There's a big confusion with medications, what's called the donut hole, the coverage gap. And what happens, and that's whether you're on original Medicare with a supplement and a drug plan, or if you're on a Medicare Advantage plan. So they have an amount that the Medicare determines every year, is where once the drug plan and your copays reach a certain level, then you go in the donut hole and you pay 25% of the retail cost of the drug. So there's ways to minimize that, and that's what we help do. We have a Canadian med store. It's a pharmacy that deals. I have some clients. She had a $770 eye drop for her glaucoma. She was paying. I said, "Oh my gosh!" So every year she was in 3 months she was getting in the donut hole. But I was able to get her medication through the Canadian med store, and for $120 for a 90-day supply. So because she was buying it herself and not putting it through the drug plan, she didn't hit the donut hole that year. There's other ways too. There's GlickRx. GlickRx is kind of like GoodRx. You can log on. It's a free app on your phone. You can put in your zip code, put in the drug name, and it'll populate a coupon for you to use. And you can go right to the pharmacist and show them that coupon and just buy it outright.
A lot of good options, but people don't know. And who
I
wants to
don't
deal
know.
with the details?
I started with metformin. I used to pay $60 a bottle. And I went to where I went to buy it, and this guy says, listen, with all due respect, if you get a Publix, they give you that for free. So Publix has a whole list of free meds. So now Publix charges the same pill, now it's $7. So now I go to Costco, and it's $2. It used to be free. It depends on what you know. Insulin at one time was like $250 for 5 injectables, right? And I found out that I could get it for free. Just have to know the plan. You have to know where to go to get. Oh, I tell you.
And
All
a
right.
lot of your local pharmacists, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. A lot of your local pharmacists, I called one last night for a special case. They are so helpful. I'll put a plug in a Yamato Pharmacy, Howie at Yamato Pharmacy. I called him up. It was like 7 o'clock. He went through some stuff with me, and we're going to save one of my clients a lot of money. They deliver. They only charge $5 for a delivery fee. So there's the small mom and pops that will go above and beyond sometimes more than your big stores.
How do people reach you?
You call me. You can email me. My phone number is 561-302-8604. I've been in Boca 45 years, and I'm here to help.
Perfect. All right, more to come. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Mitz, you're going to stay with us?
Sure.
Missy and Daniela, we're going to talk a little bit more. Look who's in the house. Ready to talk about diabetes and neuropathy and all that good stuff?
And they're both here.
I know.
All three of
Captain Jack
Captain Jack.
is in the
Got
house.
it.
More to come. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Born in Marseille, France, Max Lazega creates whimsical and free-flowing interpretive art. His 40 years in the construction industry created the foundation for his craft. His unique work displays his view of the future with bold and playful combinations of materials and processes, but the methodology remains consistent. He fuses recycled materials and discarded building supplies into a fresh, well-executed approach. Lazega has lived in Miami, Florida most of his life, where he pursues his lifelong passion of creating industrial art. For more information, contact Max Lazega at artworkstudios.org or 786-326-8873.
Want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call, because the best prices are not online. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner. Call today and get the best price on your next flight, guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
Welcome to a new way to watch your favorite shows. Only at www.amp2.tv/Roku. It's a place filled with music, podcasts, news, and more. Come join us.
If you have diabetes, would you like to eliminate painful finger sticks? Are you injecting insulin multiple times per day? Then you may qualify for a continuous glucose monitor. CGMs monitor blood sugar using a small patch placed on your upper arm or abdomen, and they use your smartphone to accurately monitor your blood sugar levels. Stop pricking and start scanning. Plus, CGMs are covered by Medicare and most private insurance plans. They can be shipped free of charge to your door. Call today to see if you qualify.
Todo Bello Balloons is a business that was born out of a passion for creating unique and beautiful balloon designs, including balloon bouquets, balloon arches, balloon columns, and more. We specialize in creating unique and beautiful balloon designs that bring your dreams into reality. We believe that balloons have the power to bring people together and create lasting memories, and we are honored to be part of that experience. Contact us and we will bring happiness to your celebrations with our balloons.
Artist Rosie Sherman paints her passions to share with everyone. Expressing herself through bold and vibrant colors, her suggestion and style are always in flux. Inspired by travels, nature, romance, and the human spirit, Rosie makes sure her depiction of women are strong and proud. Her landscapes illustrate the changing seasons in the diverse world that we live in. To find her artwork in the multiple medias you can purchase, visit rosiesherman.pixels.com.
Do you want the opportunity to have a TV show or podcast? Now, at Amp Media Productions, you can host your very own visual broadcast anywhere around the world. With our talented group of creators, we will provide you with show elements, board operations, and any on-screen visuals you'd like to showcase. All you must do is log onto your computer and communicate with your viewers. Contact Amp Media Productions at 866-224-5422 or email hello@amp2.tv to start your own show today.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
Well, I took care of that.
Guess we're coming back to us.
I guess so.
There's a lot of things up here. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to get Debbie's information for the lower third because what you want to talk about is really important.
Okay, so we got to get somebody out here to get it?
Yes.
Somebody want to come out here and get some info?
See how fast I come out here.
Let's see who comes out.
Myra, can you send someone out? Here's a test of our emergency broadcast system. Casey.
You'll hear about it in the Facebook. You read about the earthquake on Facebook.
Then McKendra.
Teddy.
Anyway, thank you.
Can we get somebody out here to pick up some info?
Thank you. Did you learn something about Medicare? I have to go to my SSA.gov and find out if I actually worked 10 years in my lifetime that paid into the system. I know I've worked. I just can't tell you I paid into the system.
I need somebody that I can sort of
We just got to get her lower thirds.
maneuver through this whole maze of stuff because
got
there's
a
so
couple
much
years.
and it changes, right? Every time a president comes along, they change it again. It's just craziness. I mean, you need to hire somebody just to tell you about the changes.
That's what she does.
That's what she does, yeah.
Are you both on Medicare?
Yes, of course.
Of course. Russ and Sally.
I am too.
Mustang Sally.
She guides me through my policies. I've been with her 6 years, and she guides me through.
Ah,
I
nice.
wonder why you're so versed.
Sir?
You're versed.
Well, I can help.
Well, you just had an incident where you were in the hospital for a little bit.
Yeah.
All the work Missy did with you helped cover all of your fees.
It was $200,000
What?
for 2 days.
I'm in the wrong business.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
It covered. The policy she sold me covered.
That's amazing.
It's amazing, yeah.
$200,000, but your policies, your Medicare. Now, are you on?
Ask her. She does. She wrote it up for me.
Is he on a Medicare and a supplement?
He chose Medicare Advantage at the time because we met when he was a little bit older. So maybe he wouldn't have qualified for a supplement. That's why it's important to make the decision early on. It also locks in your rate. If you choose a supplement, then you're going to stay. Florida's an issue age state. So if you start with a supplement at age 65, you'll always be 65 in the insurance company's eyes.
So it's worthwhile to do it as early as you can.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So your plans then covered everything for you.
Yes.
What a huge relief was that?
I'm sorry?
That was a great relief, right? You're in the hospital and you're thinking,
Of course.
And there's maximum out of pocket. So he knew what his maximum would be.
Yeah.
You know, say $3,400 for the whole year. So you have that catastrophic limit.
wow.
Yeah, 3,400 compared to 200,000. It scares me. Hey, Sally, you're on the plan too?
Yeah, I've been with Care Plus for a long time, but it doesn't have my doctor that I use for dermatology, so we were just talking about that. We'll figure out something.
So Sally could change.
Yeah, and that's a perfect example of what I was saying before. Her doctor decided just out of the blue to not take that plan anymore. So we'll we wouldn't be able to. She'd have to stick on that plan, on an Advantage plan, until October. But because of the hurricane that happened, there's a special enrollment period, so I can help her through the end of this month.
Did you know that you could change?
Now I do, but I don't. Luckily, I've been okay that I haven't really gone to the doctors that much. But I see my primary doctor, who I'm meant to see once a year. I get in the elevator the other day, and he's standing in the elevator. He didn't recognize me.
He didn't recognize you.
Well, now you're newly married.
So I think I need to.
Why, because you got married? He didn't recognize
No, he didn't know me because I don't go there that often.
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing, yeah.
That's a good thing. And what about urgent care visits? Also covered under some plans?
Yeah, if it's a Medicare Advantage, PPO, HMO, you go, and there's just a set copay depending on the plan. Of course, original Medicare, if you have a supplement, usually like a Plan G is the best one you can get right now. Unless you were 65 before January 1st.
There's a G, there was A, B, and C. What happened to D, E, and F?
We can get into that. That's what makes Medicare so confusing.
Is there a D, E, and F?
So original Medicare is A, hospital,
Thank you.
B, medical. And then if you get a supplement, the most popular supplement now is called a G. So that picks up everything that A and B except for the $226 Part B deductible.
Of course.
That's not a bad deductible. Think about that for the whole year.
So you got to be a G.
You get
I'm
the
going to
G.
be a Z out the way. Out the door is where I'm going to be.
I remember when you were in the hospital, was a long time ago, thankfully. Look at your hospital. You know what your hospital bills were.
Scary. Scary. It wasn't.
It was an emergency, so you had to.
It turns
it
into
was
a
covered.
career. You get sick, and you turn it into a career. You'd be paying that off for the rest of your life. It's nuts.
It's
I've
crazy,
never seen
right?
anything like this. An aspirin costs you $50. What is that?
And then they write half the stuff off, and they charge it, but they don't get it. And they can charge Russ's insurance, which they don't. Say they bill it at $200,000, but then they might write off $100,000 just right off the bat, and then they got to go to what's Medicare allowable, and then it starts here, because some plans will pay here, so they're going to charge here. They're like making a negotiation, but some plans will pay here, so that's okay. And some people will pay here, and then some people are going to be on a cash pay, and that's going to be here because you got to take what Medicare allows. It's complicated.
It is. And the original Medicare with the supplement is always going to be a little less red tape, less authorizations and things like that. But not everyone can afford it.
It's really confusing.
Of course, what insurance are. Life insurance, health insurance, disability.
Yeah.
Every
It's confusing.
insurance.
That's why you need a person who's really knowledgeable and who cares about you and who studies all the nuances of it so that you are perfectly covered. It's important.
And don't wait till you're in the soup to say, oh, let me call, I'm in the hospital, I got 15 tubes sticking out of me, what do I do?
No.
Don't wait until you get sick.
You lost. No.
I had to tell you, I learned that lesson.
I think a lot of people think that insurance agents are just trying to sell them something, and there are some bad
There's
ones
some
out
people
there.
Don't
But
study this stuff.
if you move, there's certain instances you should always, people consult with real estate, people consult with lawyers and doctors, but you should have a health insurance agent that has your back too, because there's a lot of nuances that you need to know.
Now, will you
about.
do you do regular health insurance and as well as Medicare, or are you strictly Medicare Missy?
I do both because what happened was in the early 90s, I was a captive agent. I only represented one company. And then when I got, after the divorce and so forth, I decided this time I'm going to represent everybody because I didn't want to lose a client because they would say, Missy, we like you, we're leaving, but this company's offering me a better deal. So this time I said I'm going to have everybody under my belt. And I need to be able to understand every single company, and because everyone's needs, everybody's different. So I had husbands that were retiring, and the group was going away, and the wife was not 65. So he's like, what do I do with my wife? So I was giving that lead to another agent, and then as soon as she turned 65, they thought of her as her agent. So I said, okay, I better work a little harder. So now I represent all of the Obamacare plans in the Affordable Care Act, which helps a lot of people that are not 65 yet, so I can take care of the husband and the wife.
And
or the
you
kids.
represent other insurance companies as well, or just Obamacare for that gap?
No, there's some other companies. United Healthcare has a plan, and there's Allstate. Then I'm also in the long-term care market and annuities and
You do it all.
You do it all.
And
Yeah.
she's doing dental.
dental, vision, hearing. Yeah, I have
she's
standalone
doing
dental
all of that,
plans.
so she's really covered. She
Yeah.
studies this 24/7. So that's why she's so good.
You know, it's interesting because I'm on somebody's plan and she's retiring next year. So once she retires, and then you have, what is it, Cobra, 18 months or something like that?
Yes, but you have to be super careful because COBRA, if somebody is eligible for Medicare and you are retiring, a lot of people don't know COBRA is not considered qualified coverage. So if you're staying on COBRA and you're really eligible for Medicare and you don't take it, you're going to get a 10% penalty for every year that you don't have it. So I've ran into somebody recently, they had COBRA for the 36 months, and they got a 30% penalty. So instead of paying the $165 a month, they were paying 30% on top of that, and that's lifetime. You can never get rid of that.
You can never get rid of it.
Then you also get the drug penalty.
Oh,
So you-
really?
the drug plan, there's a penalty.
Now, let me ask, when she retires, I'll be 62, so I got to make a move now, or I can wait till 62?
You cannot get Medicare until you're 65 unless you're eligible for disability.
Yes, you don't have to do Medicare, but
Disable me.
heaven forbid,
Hit me with
stop
an
that.
ambulance.
You know.
So what do
all
I do
day.
from 62 to 65?
Get insurance.
We
Don't get
we
sick.
can look at the one thing about the Affordable Care Act is there's no pre-existing conditions. So if you get on a plan, we look at the income, we look at your age, we look at if you have any dependents, and then that tells us if you're eligible for a subsidy to get some help financially on the premiums. And then we look at there's Cigna, there's an Aetna CVS plan, there's a United Healthcare plan.
Do I have to take affordable, or can I look for a private plan?
You can look for a private plan, but a lot of them have pre-existing conditions. So-
Pre-existing conditions as well. This is like World War
that?
III. This is like entering another war. This is crazy.
Well, how far is the look back?
There is none with the Affordable Care Act.
Well, how far is with the regular?
Sometimes it's a 1 year,
Okay.
and sometimes they can exclude pre-existing conditions altogether.
Guess what? You got a year to keep going.
But this is my point. I got to talk to her now so I can put a battle plan together because I got to figure out what the hell I'm going to do.
And then there's indemnity plans that sometimes, you guys talked yesterday a little bit about like a gap.
Yeah.
So there's a hospital indemnity plan that sometimes people buy on top of whatever they have, and it'll pay cash to them if you go into the emergency room. I had one, so I had an emergency appendectomy about 5 years ago. Who would have thunk, I was having cramps in the middle of the night, and I went in, and I had an indemnity plan, and it paid me $2,500 towards my hospital bill, and that was a help,
It's all a help.
They're not too expensive.
Remember Aflac? I don't even know if Aflac still exists, but it had this plan where they would even pay and cover your groceries if something happened, short term. I don't even know what it was called, but I remember back in the day, like we got this, it was great marketing, the duck, Aflac, and then it gave you a little bit of money here and there if you needed it.
Yeah, they're still around.
Is it still around? Isn't that funny?
Well, I got to make an appointment because obviously I got to figure out what the hell I'm doing. Thank you for making my Friday so spectacular.
I think that's amazing because look, now I've empowered you with the information that you can now make
And you could spin ice to an
but
Eskimo.
you now have the information to make an educated
Tell me, me
decision.
and you, we got to go get informed.
Right?
Yeah.
Here's what I say. I've been licensed in health and property and casualty and all that throughout the years, but we won't go all into
Of course he has.
But all I'm saying is that prior planning prevents poor performance in terms of when you get my age at 88 years old. You know what I mean? So
I agree 100%.
yeah, I mean, you got to plan.
He doesn't look
If
it.
you don't plan, you lose.
I didn't even realize that I have to do something. Until you
Right.
showed up today, it did not occur to me that come this time next year, I won't be on any medical plan.
Nothing is coincidental. You're in the right
Right.
place at the right
you
time.
again. It's you
There
again.
you go.
All right, so I got to make an appointment because I got to come up with an idea of where the hell I'm headed.
The best number, Missy, is 561-302-8604.
That's my personal cell phone and the only number that I give out.
561-302-8604. Or Missy helps seniors at gmail.com. I think it's good. I have to
I'm
find.
really happy for you.
I have to find out if I've worked 10 years in
You
my
don't work.
lifetime.
I don't understand what's going on. You qualify for nothing.
I gotta
I'm
see
gonna
if
give
I
you a
actually.
broom. Go sweep the streets.
Only if it pays into the system. See
I'll
that
take
free
your
work
taxes
doesn't
out.
pay into.
Shake this hand in your cup.
See, everyone's in a different precarious
Wow.
situation,
Wow. You know, when it hits home, it hits hard.
Oh, yeah.
right? But you got plenty of time for Medicare. You just got to get it all in alignment now.
It's plenty of time. Next thing I'm going to blink and it'll be next year and I'm going to be okay.
You
What am
still
I
have plenty
doing?
of time. You're only 61.
But you still have, and now things change from here to next year again, right? Things change. You have to look at the laws and different things that are going on. So here we go.
We have a big epidemic now. People are losing Medicaid, you know, because there was a 3-year hold during COVID and during politics where they weren't checking anybody's income.
Okay.
And now they're losing
Can I
it.
do this just as an aside?
Yes.
Yes.
This morning, I got the report, and I sent it to Missy. It says more than 1 million people have been dropped from Medicaid in the past couple of months in some states.
Wow.
More than 1 million.
That's because of the
Tell her
COVID.
why, and tell her what they can do to protect themselves, Missy.
Well, they're just going to have to prove if they have certain assets and income, and if they fall below the standards, they can keep the Medicaid. But they weren't checking for years, so a lot of people got comfortable. Now we're getting calls from people. I got a letter. I lost my Medicaid. So, you know, Danielle and I will work with them, see if we can still get them to keep it. But there's a process, and if they're not able to keep their Medicaid, then we will move them to a non-Medicaid plan so they don't lose their insurance, because they only have a certain window that they can change. Otherwise, they lose coverage completely.
Wow.
Is this because they didn't qualify? It was just because of COVID they gave them the okay?
Yeah, the government just like waived, like, because you used to have to, every certain amount of time, you'd get a letter and you'd have to show your bank account information or assets. And you know, I have a lot of people that sold their houses high. A lot of seniors sold their houses and then they got this big chunk of money. And if they didn't turn around and buy another house, they lost their Medicaid.
Because they had all that as
They
an
saw
asset.
that extra cash.
All that cash.
But I was able to help one of my clients. Actually, it was a referral from a medical center. And
That's horrible.
this couple moved from Boston. They sold their house high, bought a place in Florida. But all the government saw was this big chunk in their bank account. They didn't see that they had then reinvested it. So it's a form I helped them with. Some other person probably would have charged them a bunch of money to do it. But it was an appeal form that we did online. We took it to Social Security together, and his monthly Medicare Part B premium went from $320 a month per person down to the $165. So that was I felt good about doing that for them. They were very
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
But what a trap. Can you imagine all those people that sold their houses
But it's good to have.
and they want Medicaid and they're not going to lose it because they don't really qualify?
Because you have to show assets.
That's why don't put your money in the bank.
What are you going to do, put in your mattress?
I slept on lumpy mattresses
You
all my life.
definitely are from the Bronx, no
From the
doubt.
Bronx, baby.
No
We had
doubt.
the Bronx Bank.
You and my grandfather.
Mattress, pillows.
The worst back pain in the world, right?
My grandfather, mattress is what it was. All right, let's take a commercial break. We're going to play some JC because July 21st, JC Dreesen is in concert at the Movies of Del Rey. Check it out, events.amp2.tv. Get your tickets now. It's a Friday night. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Broadway to Hollywood and back again. We're going to play some music at the top of the hour. When we come back, we're going to talk to Dr. Jack is in the house with Debbie Montgomery and some magic that Freddie has found for his neuropathy.
Magic.
We'll be right
Get
back.
your pencils ready.
Has someone in your family lost a job recently and now you can't afford your mortgage payment? Or do you have a rental property and your tenants aren't paying you? We can come to the rescue and pay you cash for your home immediately. Yes, sell your home and get cash all over the phone without dealing with real estate agents or having to waste time showing your home to lukewarm buyers. You don't need to lose your house to foreclosure. If you have equity in your home, we'll buy your home and give you cash within days, all in a simple over-the-phone and virtual process. Call now before your situation gets worse. Sell a home you can't afford or just need anymore and get the cash you need today. Call this number now.
Call 855-348-5925. That's 855-348-5925. Again, 855-348-5925.
Stephanie Jaffe is a world-renowned artist who creates one-of-a-kind pieces. Using a keen sense of color and composition, her vibrant collages and mosaics integrate eclectic elements such as vintage keepsakes and fine china with blown glass and fired clay to create whimsical arrangements. For more information about her work, come down to the Brooklyn Cafe TV studio or go to StephanieJaffeArt.com.
If you have diabetes, would you like to eliminate painful finger sticks? Are you injecting insulin multiple times per day? Then you may qualify for a continuous glucose monitor. CGMs monitor blood sugar using a small patch placed on your upper arm or abdomen, and they use your smartphone to accurately monitor your blood sugar levels. Stop pricking and start scanning. Plus, CGMs are covered by Medicare and most private insurance plans. They can be shipped free of charge to your door. Call today to see if you qualify.
Nobody likes to prick their fingers. If you are a diabetic using insulin like many of us, the worst part of your day is sticking your fingers to draw blood. Now you don't have to do it anymore. You can get a new continuous glucose monitor. As long as you check your blood sugar and inject insulin, it may be covered by your insurance. Call us and we'll let you know if you are covered, and send one at little or no cost to you with free shipping. Stop freaking your fingers. Call right now for your new continuous glucose monitor.
Introducing the Price is Right Home Sweepstakes. You could win the same kind of cash and prizes you see on the TV show. Just call this number right now. And when you call, ask about these amazing offers from our sponsors. Low Cost Airlines offers fares too low to advertise that you can't find anywhere else. You can save hundreds on your next flight with Low Cost Airlines. US Med is your one-stop resource for diabetic supplies. And if you have Medicare, you could get them at little to no out-of-pocket cost. US Med. MedGuard Alert's unique medical technology provides immediate help to seniors with the touch of one button. And you could get your device for free. MedGuard Alert. The United Breast Cancer Foundation can use the donation of your old car, truck, or van to help those fighting breast cancer. Pickup is free and you'll get a tax exemption. Call now to enter the Price is Right Home Sweepstakes. Win thousands in cash and prizes and learn more about these great offers.
Hey Kaylee, what's up?
Hey, nothing, what's up?
Nothing, just looking for music for Grandpa I listen to while we're in the car.
What's wrong with listen to now?
Let's just say we have different tastes, you know?
Why don't you try listening to a podcast on Spotify?
Like which one?
The Broken Cafe Studio one is really good.
Okay, I'll try that one out. Thanks.
It's lunchtime and the Brooklyn Cafe is open for business. Live from the Amp Media Studios, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought. You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
I'll have a blue Christmas without you. I'll be so blue just thinking about you. Decorations of red on a green Christmas tree won't be the same if you're not here with me. when those blue, blue memories start calling. You'll be doing alright with your Christmas of white. But how blue, 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 blue Christmas. Decorations of red on a green Christmas tree won't be the same if you're not here with me. I'll have a blue Christmas, that's certain. And when those blue, blue heartaches start hurting, you'll be doing alright with your Christmas of white. But I'll blue, 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 blue Christmas.
And we're back.
What do you got cooking over here?
It's
I gotta
from
tell you,
Mars.
all kidding aside, now, you know, I'm very worried over here. Now I got to sort of figure out.
You're worried. I got to keep you young and pumping for the next 70 years. I ain't got no time for you to deal with Medicare and neuropathy and aging. What do you think? I haven't even worked 10 years. I'm ready to let you get old. No. What you got here?
I don't know what you're talking about, but okay. But I got to tell you, this stuff is unbelievable.
I have things to do.
You know, one of the things during my journey of losing weight, and I've lost over 30 pounds. But one of the reasons that I did this, I had to get my A1C down. And a lot of people tell you, you know, you gotta work out, you gotta exercise, you gotta stay mobile, you gotta. There's a lot of gotta. But the problem is that when your feet bother you and they hurt, your gotta go out the window. I don't care who you are, minus Superman, because you can't walk, you can't walk. So I meet our next guest, and she puts me on this stuff. And the first couple of weeks, I was a little afraid because I noticed that my sugar was going up. But it had to do with something else.
Your blood pressure was going up.
Had nothing to do with this.
Interesting.
Had to do with something else. It was a correction that my body was doing. And I called my doctor. He says, you know what, let's stay on it for another week and see what happens. By the turn of the second week, everything changed. This cream and this pills let me start walking again. Now, you know, I walk out here, I got my own course, right? 350 per round. Sometimes I do 3, sometimes I do 4. But if it wasn't for this stuff, I wouldn't be able to walk because my feet were bothering me. It got to the point that I went to see my heart specialist. She says, no, here's some, what's that pill? The one that which starts with a P? That pill that they give people for neuropathy. That crap. A G. Well, for me, it could start with an X because I ain't taking it.
Thank you, Debbie.
And they gave me a gabapentin.
Yeah.
That crap.
Do you remember they put you on the gabapentin, and then we were looking for this studio. We went to one of the developers in town, and he says to you, we didn't even end up renting from him.
Oh, the landlord guy.
Right, the landlord. He
Says, "Don't take
passes you
that
a
stuff."
note. He says, get off of that. Now, this is the landlord who owns most of the properties in this area. He says, if you do anything or don't even work with me, you got to get off this medication.
That's what
right?
he did. And I was on it for 3 days. And when I got off it took 3 weeks for me to get my head back together. The pain was so excruciating from withdrawal from this stuff. It was the worst. So anyway, long story short.
We meet Debbie Montgomery. I don't even know how we met you through another show.
Vismaya.
Vismaya.
Of
The
course.
healer. Vismaya.
Gratitude
you
queen.
popped in and out on so many shows, I forget the finder of it, the origination. Vismaya heard you talking about your neuropathy and said, I've got someone to introduce you to.
But this stuff is freaking unbelievable.
Well, let's talk to Debbie, and she brought her mom and dad. We got Dr. Jack in the house, and Glenn. We're so excited because we've heard about Dr. Jack. You got to meet Dr. Jack, and we call Debbie, and Dr. Jack answers the phone, which I'm really excited that you're both here with her as well. Talk about leaving a legacy, right? Give us some background on these products.
Sure. The website is benfocomplete.com. I changed it years ago because originally the vitamin supplement itself is called benfotiamine. It's a fat-soluble form of vitamin B1. The Germans have used it for 45 years to treat alcoholic neuritis. We came about benfotiamine.net, which is now benfocomplete.com, because 20 years ago, my husband, Louis, had diabetes, neuropathy, sciatica, and they were looking to put him on gabapentin and something else, and he didn't want to do it. So Lou was insulin dependent and needed something to take care of the pain, particularly with the sciatica. And so he did a lot of research, and at the time, benfotiamine was being researched by Dr. Michael Brownlee. And so Lou found a company in Germany and actually ordered some. And it was amazing, like Freddie, within days, it was helping him out. And so he tried to get some more. Well, then the Germans shut him off. They didn't want him. They don't want us selling it in the States. And so he was very entrepreneurial and found a place overseas and said, I want to bring this to the United States so that I can provide a pharmaceutical grade benfotiamine at a really good price so that Americans can get some relief from these problems, which is what he did.
What are the properties of benfotiamine? What do they do?
Benfotiamine, well, we'll let Dr. Jack talk too, because Dr. Jack is my father, and regardless of what my customers say, how long have I been working for him? I've been working for him all my life. But Dad's worked for me for 15 years. And neuropathy itself is the damage to the nerve endings, particularly with diabetics. 60% are going to get neuropathy because the sugar levels have damaged their nerves. We're also seeing a lot now with chemotherapy patients. The chemotherapy is damaging the nerves. Yesterday, we interviewed someone who's out in Texas, and they were saying that COVID is hurting the nerves, particularly with 20 and 30-something-year-olds. So it's been very interesting for us to see how neuropathy has been changing over the years. It's not curable, but it's treatable. And
let me ask Dr. Jack then, how does benfotiamine work? What is it? Because you've got this is on your feet. So how is this product, a cream, helping neuropathy? What are the properties of benfotiamine that it helps?
Hold on to your mic then.
Does he have a mic?
He does.
He's got a mic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, first let me tell you that I'm a dentist, so it doesn't help your teeth, I'll tell you now. Except if you want to use it as toothpaste.
And he's funny.
No, it's a chemical, and that turns people off sometimes, but it shouldn't. But they see, it's been around for 65 or more than 65 years. It's no longer patented, so that's where we have a problem. People can't start up their own companies. They can now because it's not patented. Before they were limited. And so nobody ever knew much about it until the patents went off, and then suddenly the internet got a hold of it and all kinds of other problems.
Just hold your mic right here.
And I think you'd call them problems. The competition, well, there's a lot of competition, but the problem with the competition is that people don't know what they're getting. I mean, we know what our product is, but we can't prove it to everybody else. They mostly have to learn by experience. And we've had such great experiences. In fact, I've been doing this now for about 18 years. And I've got a lot of people that I talk to are just like family. I talk to them about politics, I talk to them about my kids, I talk to them about all kinds of things. And occasionally I sell them some product. And that works out for everybody. But anyway, it's been a great bunch of years, and that I've talked to so many different people, different religions, different areas of the country, different physical problems, and some mental. And it's been an experience that I'm very happy that I've been able to have. And I enjoy talking with people. That's one thing about being a dentist, as this young lady knows. As a dentist, you learn to talk a lot because most patients were, if not presently, deathly afraid of being in your office in the first place. So the first thing you have to do is get them to overcome those fears, which are non-existent, should be, but they're not. I've had people coming in and crying in the waiting room, and their children I've already seen. That's how they got there. I said, "Why are you crying?" "Oh, what do you want to do about it?" "I'm not going to hurt you, please." Wow. So when I get home at the end of each day, my wife says, "Talk to me." I said, "All I've been doing is talking to people all day, trying to get them over the fact that they're going to go to the dentist without getting injured."
Well, I was thinking because your patient's mouth is always open, so they can't answer you back. So you have
Well,
to have
no,
like this.
they
It's like us. This one-way
that.
conversation. You ask and answer together.
Yeah.
Which is what he does with our customers.
There you go.
Because he has all day there to sit and talk with them, where, I could do a sale in about a minute and a half, and Dad's talking to him for half an hour, but they get to know the family. And that's the whole basis of our company, is it's a family-owned, family-run, veteran-owned, and we treat our clients as if they're family.
You started with Freddie started with the cream.
Well, I want to get into that because there's also the B vitamins.
The multi-Bs.
The multi-B. Now, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. This is like a giant chemistry set. What I like about the cream is that diabetics' feet dry up. They begin to turn to raisins. And you have to keep them hydrated. So you got to do baths, you got to keep it, you got to use the cream on it, you got to make sure your feet stay hydrated because when they get dry, they crack. And when they crack, you got other issues, ulcers and things of that nature. So here we go here. And then when you take the G150, for me, this is where the magic is. I take metformin, and I was told that metformin eats away at your B vitamin complex. So you have to supplement that. You're probably even better over supplementing where you're going to urinate it out because you don't know what your metformin is doing to your body. Now, I'm different from you, that's different from her. So when I started to take the B and I started to take this, I started to notice different things happening in my body, and it started to feel better. And again, all of this was so that I could start walking, I could start even running if I want, and the weight is starting to come down. So my A1C went from 8.9 to 7 in 4 months. And my doctors, he brought in all the doctors in the clinic and said, they said, "Is this correct?" Because they do the A1C now instantly. You don't have to wait a couple of days. They do it instantly. He says, "What the hell did you do besides losing the weight?" And I pointed to this for the neuropathy. You can't move if you can't move. You can't do the things you have to do to get your diabetes down if you can't move. This is the end game for me.
Now this is all over the counter, correct?
It is. It's a form of vitamin B1. It's a fat-soluble form of B1. The G150 that Freddie was taking, and he called it the white pills yesterday, that's only benfotiamine by itself, 150 milligrams. The multi-B is the 150 milligrams of the B1, plus also B2, B5, B6, B12, and folic acid. Very good forms of the Bs. A lot of my friends call them Debbie's Bs. I take them. I don't have neuropathy. I don't have sciatica. I don't have diabetes, but it's good for your nails. It's good for your hair. It's good for your heart. It's good for your eyes. It's good for your kidneys. And now I think we talked yesterday at type 3 diabetes is considered by researchers, Alzheimer's is considered to be by researchers type 3 diabetes. They're doing research on benfotiamine now to see if it might slow the progression of type 3 diabetes or Alzheimer's, which is phenomenal for those of us that are in our 60s. If we start taking it now, by the time we're 94, presumably we'll be as sharp as Dad.
He looks like he's 24.
He'll be 94 on September 15th.
God bless you.
Wow. Yep, Mom's 88. She's
wow.
done. Same
Yeah, I've been taking the pills for 18 years, but I don't remember why.
When a sense of humor's done, we're gone.
But it does work.
Yeah, and you asked about how it came about. The capsules came first. The cream came later on when we had older customers who were not able to take capsules, and the white ones are pretty small.
Yeah.
So the cream is something that they can put on their hands or feet. I had one customer that had neuropathy in his stomach, so he wanted to put it all over his belly. We recommend that the cream is used in conjunction with the capsules, not necessarily by itself, because there's more benfotiamine in the capsules than there is in the cream. It's hard to make a cream with a powder without it being sandy and gritty. And so it's been a fine formula blend in the last couple of years. It's been a work in progress on how we've made it. So work them together, especially keep them in the refrigerator, keep the cream in the fridge.
Nice and cool.
And you put it on,
Next to
it's
the
cool,
milk.
it calms down the fires.
Well, nice and cool. You see, I don't have the fires anymore. Now I do it so that, you guys sleep at night, right? You go to bed, you sleep. Me, I'm watching TV till 1 in the morning because I got to put the cream going.
What are you finding besides your numbers? How you feel?
Well, this is another thing. All the B's that you're taking and this stuff, your energy level begins to rise. So you get up in the morning and you go, holy smokes, what is going on here? And it just lasts the whole day. Like last night, you said, you tired? I said, no, let's go.
The night before I left at 7, you were here till 10 with the
Don't make no difference to me because all of a sudden my energy levels begin to rise. And all of a sudden you start doing exercise, you start walking. So I went from doing 3 rounds now to doing 5, to doing 6. I go on Weight Watchers on Saturday. And I got friends in there who have neuropathy. And I take the empty bottle and I say, here, take a picture. Here, take a picture. And it says, if you trust the process, you got a shot. You got a shot. I mean, look at the ages in here, man.
I know, it's
You
amazing,
got
isn't
a
it?
shot. And if you really want to be able to do the things, I want to see us on television. I want this production to explode. I want to see my grandkids get married. Am I going to be around?
Yes.
Not if I don't try.
Well, you got to keep doing
You
what
got to
you're doing.
try. So I am so happy I met you and the man because I got to tell you something. In my opinion, this works. Now, I've known you 7 years. On the air, I've tried everything. I've tried everything.
Even fermented beet juice. He has tried,
Oh, my
honest,
Lord.
everything.
Don't say that. I'm going to have a nightmare.
Remember that?
She had me drink a sack of fermented
And it came in
beet
like a
juice.
sack with a spout. That was in the refrigerator, too.
I used to drink this much in the morning, swallow it and run around the studio
You
because I
tried
could
algae.
not stand
Remember
it.
you took the algae pills
Algae.
also?
I had algae everywhere.
Tried that too. You've tried it all.
Every potion, commotion that you can name, I've tried. I even put it on the air. I take my shoes off. I put it on the air. There was a guy that came in here, CBD oil. I got to
Tried
tell
that
you, the
too?
CBD did work, but then it stopped.
How many times a day do you do this?
Every morning.
Once a day?
It depends. If I'm having a
You do it
long day,
whenever
we
you
go
want,
twice.
morning and night. Mom puts it on at night.
Yeah. And it helps you sleep like a baby. Everybody comes to my house because they want, and don't you come to my house. Everybody comes to my house, they want a foot rub. Foot rub. Out.
I don't know.
Out.
All I can tell you, if we can look as good as mom and dad at their age, then
That's
I'm
the
in.
secret.
Then I am in. I feel as if that's.
One of them got a lot of things.
We need a picture. Like this is the secret to longevity, right?
Well, you add exercise and eating well. I mean, they've been athletes their whole lives, and so it's really important to keep that up. And remember, we're not doctors, and this may not be for everybody, but it's certainly worth a try. And it's a vitamin supplement. So what's it going to do? Can't hurt you, Eddie.
It can't.
Missy.
I have a question.
Talk it to your mic. Talk it to your mic. Ask as many as you want.
So the question I have, because I'm trying to beat not sleeping well and not feeling good and not having enough energy, so I'm taking all sorts of stuff. If I buy this, can you do like overload on B
No.
I don't want to overload on B
Dad,
vitamins.
do you want to answer, Dad?
Well,
Put your mic, Dad. Put your mic up.
Hold your mic up.
yeah, no.
That's funny.
It's on. It's on.
Okay.
Well, I
No,
don't want to answer.
I've had people take as many as 30 capsules at one time. That's a little more than you need, but it worked for this particular person. They were in dire distress from pain. But there's a lot of different things you can do with it, but one of the things that bothers me a little bit is that it takes time for people to work with the pills, especially. Most of the people have pain, and they want something done as quickly as they can, but nerve problems, no matter what the nerve problem is very slow in healing, particularly in dentistry. In dentistry especially. And so people will buy, they don't want to spend too much money, so they will, too many of them will say, oh, I only want to buy one bottle and try it. I said, well, I'm not trying to be a salesperson, but I don't suggest one bottle because nothing may happen. My own brother-in-law, I gave him some for fibromyalgia problem. Didn't help him at all. I gave him another bottle. Didn't help him at all. So he was kind of wondering what kind of crap am I trying to sell him? Well, I'm not selling it. I'm giving it to him anyway. But anyway, he finally decided he would be willing to take it for 3 months. And after 3 months, he finally getting relief from his pain.
How many pills a day?
4 is the average.
4, okay. And then the other question is, what's the cost on these items?
It depends. You can buy one bottle, it's about $30, but you buy a 3-pack and it's between $50 and $80. You asked the question though about the bees and the overload on bees. Our multi-bee, and we had this conversation yesterday, if you take too many, your body can only absorb so many bees, you're going to pee them out. Okay? The benfotiamine is a little different because it's fat soluble. It will stay in your system. We recommend, if you're already taking a B supplement, get we call it the regular G150s, which is only benfotiamine if you're looking for the neuropathy. If you're looking for a real good source of B vitamins, take the multi-B, 4 a day. Typically 4 a day, 600 milligrams a day is fine. We've got Dr. Jack. People can call Dr. Jack all the time and just say, this may not be working for me. Do I need to take more? You know, we might give you half and half. Freddie, we said take 2 multi-Bs, take 2 regular Gs. Just kind of limit it. It's, again, whatever your body might take, your body type. If you're really big, you might take a little bit more than if you're really small. So it's a work in progress, but you're not going to overload on the Bs, and we've, knock on wood, never really seen anybody have problems with medication that they're taking. There's no adverse reaction for the Bs, because they're all vitamins, with the medication. Now, we recommend you work with your physician, because sometimes your sugar levels are going to go down taking one of the pills. You don't want to be overloading on your insulin if your sugars are going crazy. So it's a work in progress, but typically it's 4 capsules a day, either the Gs or the multi-Bs. If you're pre-diabetic, we haven't really talked about this. We do have a new product that came out called Benfo Boost. It's for pre-diabetics. It's only got 150 milligrams in 3 capsules, so it's a third per. But it also has some properties that are really good for stress. They're good for weight, a little bit of weight changes. It's not really the right word. I got lost for it. Weight management. What are the other things? Like I said, it's new. It's on our website, which is benfocomplete.com. But it's geared towards, because we were looking at a family-centric thing now, not just diabetics, not just folks with neuropathy, the next generation, our families, because grandma's cooking one way, mom's cooking the same way, and now we have 150-pound 12-year-olds who are going to get diabetes. We're trying to get them to limit their sugar, not completely put it out. I mean, I'm all about moderation, but limit your sugar, up your vitamins, up your exercise, and just look at the holistic option. And if you don't have neuropathy, then maybe the Boost is the better one. I had some guy write to me. We're talking about people being uncivil. Some guy wrote the other day and said, how did you squeeze that snake to get the oil? And I wrote back to him kindly, and I said, look, vitamin supplements aren't for everybody, but if they work for you, why be on a drug? So for our philosophy is try it. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, then move on. But
at least 3 months.
But be kind. 90
but
days.
Give it a
At least
shot.
3 months.
Give
90
it a
days.
shot.
You've been taking it for, it's got to be over 3 months.
Well, it's got to be over 3 months, and I'm going to keep on taking it. And the funny thing is that I'm not a big water drinker, or at least I wasn't. What happens is no matter what you take, vitamins, if you take metformin, if you take any kind of medication, you got to drink the water. And you've seen that blue thing that I walk around with, thanks to Mrs. Bachigaloop here, You got to drink the water because you got to take care of your kidneys. You got to sort of hydrate and you got to sort of take care of your kidneys. So when you take too much vitamin B, all of a sudden it starts coming out of you. But I used to watch that and I say, man, but look at my energy level. So I guess my body's telling me how much I need it. So I went from 4 to 2. And it works fantastically, not a problem. I went to 2 of these and it worked fantastically. And my body adjusts to the water intake, the cream at night and during the day. I started sleeping like a baby. And I'm saying, man, could this have made such a huge difference? Okay. So I ran out of the cream. She brought me one yesterday. I ran out of the cream and I didn't order it because I wanted to see the difference, right?
Well, we called Debbie a couple weeks ago. We spoke to Dr. Jack, and she says, I can't come in for a few weeks, but I'll be here. And sure enough, here she is.
So I stopped. I couldn't sleep. So I saw Debbie yesterday. I put it on. My goodness gracious, I was knocked out, unconscious. That alarm clock went up at 5:45, and I said, what happened? So I've tested it. I see if it was this, it was something else. I've kept my diet mostly the same because I'm still, I got to lose a few more pounds to do it. But this is just a way of going to that next level if you want to be able to sleep. The B thing that you're talking about, the supplement for stress, I didn't know that was for stress. And now I'm going to be taking 2 of those as well. Oh my goodness gracious. And they're in here saying, how is it that you sit down so stress-free? You got to take that stuff. And I got it in my pocket, by the way. I got 2 of her pills in my pocket.
He walks around with a baggie.
I do.
A sandwich baggie of pills.
I'll be giving away my secret.
I'll give you a pill holder. I have plenty of them.
Oh, no, I have
Oh, he's got
them.
that too.
I have them.
Pill holders in
But
one
I gotta
pocket.
separate.
The baggies in the, see, I even know. We both went for the pocket.
I
One of the-
separate my pills. I got my left pocket.
One of the
I got my right
benefits
pocket.
that I have found with the cream is that you almost always get immediate relief. People call me up and they say, oh, I just rub it in and it works. Whereas the pills, you got to expect it's going to take a while before anything happens.
Yeah. So it's for pain or to help you sleep and relax. It's not just for diabetics. It's for
It's for everybody now. If you're thinking that you're going to get rid of pain instantly with it, it typically doesn't happen. But if
Or
you have the
pills.
neuropathy, it will calm it down, right? So if you've got arthritis pain, it may not help that, although Mom uses it for arthritis.
Yeah.
It's a work in progress. Actually, you mentioned something about the kidneys. We've got kidney doctors, nephropathy, neuropathy, retinopathy, all the opathies. I mean, this is a vitamin supplement, so anything that's got nerves
Can help.
affected, it's helping those things.
It's interesting. We're going to take a commercial break in a minute. I was at the acupuncturist. We were talking about Hashimoto's, and she says to me, that's inflammation. That affects all of your nerves. Someone else wrote to me the other day, she's supposed to be in here today, she says, I have Hashimoto's, and I get sick and it affects all the nerves. So even if you don't feel the neuropathy, if you've got inflammation of your nerves and your nervous system, this might be something that would help as well.
And don't be writing in here that Freddie said it cures anything. I never used the word cure. We would never use the word cure. We are regulated by the FCC, so we are not even allowed to bring up the word cure. Not talking about cure. I'm talking about I use this so that I can start walking again to lose the weight. And if you don't believe that I lost the weight, just look up there and you'll see the difference between what I was and what I am. And this had a lot to do with it because it allowed me to move again. So if you don't believe me, come on down. I'll challenge you. Come walk with me.
All right, let's take a commercial break. More to come, but I wanted all of you to meet because I know you've got clients that could benefit with what Debbie and Dr. Jack have. A lot of good things. All right, look at this group we've got. Imagine if we could look like and be like this at their age.
Yeah.
We got a lot of work to do.
Put on your seatbelts because the next segments we're going to the moon.
More to come. 888-994-4995. We'll be right back.
Do you have an idea for a show or a podcast? Do you want the opportunity to be on TV? Amp Media Productions is partnered with True Oldies Real Radio Station and powered by many online platforms such as Roku, Facebook, YouTube, and even Amazon Fire to help amplify your impact. Do you want your voice to reach a wide audience? Call us today at 866-224-5422.
There is no way to ignore it. You hear it on the news, online, from your friends and family.
What happened to my money? Whether it got hit by falling stocks and bonds, with the coronavirus, shrunk by a floundering 401k with low interest rates, and is riding the extreme ups and downs of the stock market with political elections. Many Americans are worried about their money and how they're going to retire. Help protect your financial future now and call J.D. Melberg for your complimentary book from a leading financial firm that shows you ways not to run out of money whether the market goes up or down. This free book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms that can protect your money for a lifetime. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report summarizing the rates and benefits of annuities from hundreds of top-rated insurers, helping you to find ways to get up to 33% more income in retirement. That's right. 2 books, both absolutely free, for calling J.D. Melberg. Help protect your financial future.
Call 877-643-3015.
Le Sorel Restaurant, home of the authentic Italian tradition, offers a large menu that consists of seafood, steak, homemade pasta, brick oven pizza, and homemade desserts including a wide wine selection. We also have the best bar in Boca Raton with delicious cocktails, homemade limoncello, cappuccino, Italian espresso, brandy, and other specialties, open every day with a lunch and dinner menu. For more information or to make a reservation, contact lesorelrestaurant.com or call 561-235-5301.
South Florida's Good Time Oldies. Now, Boca and Delray Beach have their own oldie station. Catch us on 95.3 FM. It's the greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s. On South Florida's Good Time Oldies, 95.3 FM.
Give me the mozzarella. 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 Give me the mozzarella.
Pizza Rica, tasty rich and pizza at 2001 Northwest Boca Raton Boulevard or contact 561-826-8663.
Give me the mozzarella. Give me the mozzarella. Give me the mozzarella. Give me the mozzarella.
You can take her any place she wants, to fancy clubs and restaurants. Well, I can only watch you with my nose pressed up against the window pane. I have nothing.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
Boom. That was awesome.
Welcome back. You like that little July 21st? This is a portion of the show is brought to you by Pizza Rica. Bring me the mozzarella.
You gonna go get some pizza? Probably later he will. All right, we have to talk to a resident groupies over here. I know.
Uh-oh.
I feel like when mom and dad are happy, all is right with the world. That light's out apparently. So lights in the night in the house. I didn't do it. Me. Look who you got sitting over here.
Whoa.
We've got our in-house psychic and medium Sally Bernard and host of Lights in the Night, our alien correspondent.
What is it?
With all due respect, Russell Johnson.
Who walked up to you? Was it yesterday? Were you here yesterday?
I was here
Wednesday.
day
Wednesday.
before yesterday.
I didn't get a chance to talk to you, but I got to get back. I got to talk to you. No, it was somebody else. It was somebody else who had a career decision. Oh, I remember, the hypnotist.
Oh.
Remember what I'm talking about? Eve. Hypnotist. So she goes like this. Out. Out.
No, that wasn't for me.
No, she didn't knock you out. She wanted to talk to you because she had a decision.
Oh, I'd like to talk to her.
So I said to her, do you really hypnotize people? She says, I'm hypnotizing you now. I said,
Was she a
"That's the
tall
same
lady?
guy."
A
Yes,
tall lady?
tall
Yes,
woman.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah. I don't, but I'd like to meet her. I need to be hypnotized.
You need to be hypnotized, and she wants to know what you've got to say.
Well, I might tell her under hypnosis.
But I think you go in, when Sally goes into her trance, and she goes into where she's at, she's getting more and more messages.
I am,
And they're
yeah.
clearer.
Yeah.
And they're more refined. And
Yeah.
there's names.
Yeah,
there's
she was in
events.
that. She was in that room. She ran into Russell.
I was in the zone.
She ran into Russell.
She probably thought she was going crazy.
I know. Russ, we talked about lights in the. You talked about lights in the night. We were talking about the submarine this morning, and unfortunately, what happened. But I believe just as we can go that way, and our aliens and our terrestrials are above us, there's no doubt in my mind there are other spirits and souls below us that are saying, "Leave us be."
Well, it's more than that. There are a lot of aliens down there because they have a lot of, they live, have you heard Hollow Earth?
Of course, we hear it on your show.
Okay. But they live there. They've been there for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. This is their planet, especially the reptilians.
So did they come and tell you what was going on with all of this, with the submarine and everything that happened? Did you get info?
But it's called research.
Did you research it?
Some of it I haven't, no.
He's always
I did.
researching. You did?
I got some information.
What'd you get?
That they shouldn't have done what they did, okay? They were interrupting, I'm feeling it right now, actually, because they call it like a graveyard down there, and there's souls down there, many, and some of them have stayed there. And they were it was very near where it's a tragedy, and I felt very, very bad about it, but they passed very, very near where everybody passed from the Titanic. And they were interfering with something. And I mean, I don't have all the answers, but it wasn't the best thing to do. It really wasn't. And unfortunately, they lost their own lives too.
Well, Johnny Melnick wrote something on Facebook, and he says, I'm going to apologize to everybody who's going to scream at me. Now, Johnny apparently was in the Navy, like my brother.
Mm-hmm.
My brother was in the Navy, and Harry used to tell me there were things that happen out at sea that have no explanation. I can't explain it. I can't explain what I saw. I can't explain the sounds, the light. I can't explain it. So I said to him, well, you hallucinating. And he was in the military, so they weren't allowed to do drugs, allegedly. They weren't allowed to use drugs or anything. So he says, I can't explain it, right? So Johnny Melnick says, sometimes you should not be where you should not be. And we should leave it alone and pay respect to all the souls that were lost down there. Leave it alone. Now, that's an interesting concept. This gentleman here, about 8 years ago, I did a show that he currently is doing now. And we had a lieutenant in the Air Force comes up to the radio station, and he's waiting in the lobby to talk to Russell. And I said to him, well, welcome to the show. How can I help you? No, I want to talk to him. And I said, you want to talk to him? You got to find out what this is about. I got a little nervous. Why has this guy been waiting around for an hour? He says, well, I'm a lieutenant from the Air Force. I'm going to tell you, when I was flying a B-52 bomber, I saw something. And I was made to sign documents. You remember this? Made to sign documents, not to discuss it on the air. And I want to tell him my story. And it was on your show.
Mm-hmm.
It lit up the board because apparently Hollow Earth and all these other things that he talks about started to come forward. So I'm talking to Russell one day. This is about 8 years ago. And the Sci-Fi Channel was doing Aliens. It was the first time it was coming out on the day that Russell came out with this whole Lights in the Night thing. And at that moment, I said to Russell, wow, what the hell is going on? And he said to me, oh, a lot more is coming. So NASA, who my son works with, but you don't hear me say that, came out with a report that says, here is what we have, and we have no explanation for it. Remember, I was telling you about this. So, what you say, what he says, can't argue it anymore. You can't say that these people are coming out of left field anymore. Area 51, all that. There was a guy in here, disappeared. Nobody's ever seen him again after he came on the radio. You were here. You were here. There was a guy, there was a captain in here. He used to run Area 51, and he came on a show.
They took him?
They haven't seen him since that show. We don't know what happened to him. His house, he's nobody there, he's gone.
He was here in the studio?
He was in
and
here
just,
on the show that we did on Friday night.
You talking about Area 51 this, Area 51
Yeah.
that?
And he started to let out all these things. And he says, well, I really don't want to get deep into it. Next day we called because I wanted to put him on this show. Gone. House empty.
How long
Gone.
ago was this?
About 2 months?
About 2 months ago.
Really?
I wanted them to meet you guys.
Yeah.
And he says, I'll be more than happy to. His house, you go there, car's gone, he's not there, gone. Everybody gone.
He spoke on the show? Yeah.
We can look into that a little bit more because I'm feeling something about that. Are you?
All I'm saying is that if you don't understand something, don't make fun of it because it can hurt your whole life, as they say. But that show has always been successful. It's always been, Russell's been around since Oprah. He was a producer for Oprah. He's been around since those days and forward. And he's put together shows. We've done a number of shows. But that alien show always did well. Always did well. So this one comes in one day, and she lays out her story about the aliens. This one is newly married. Her husband was sitting right there. And he's sitting there going, I didn't know any of this. Remember? He says, I got to go home with her?
And actually, I do have to thank Russell because I didn't know all that had happened to me. I thought I was just astral projecting. But through meeting you, Russ, and I must say this, that I began to understand what actually had happened to me. It was my time to understand. Only I came and voiced it on the air here in front of Steve, my husband, which wasn't the best thing to do. But
And you did it on the air?
I did it on the air, yeah.
Now, it's funny because ever since they've come forward, more and more people are telling me their stories.
Yeah.
It used to be that nobody wanted to talk about it. And he warned me. He says, listen, if you go over there and you talk to them, they're going to whisper in. He says, not for nothing. And they're looking around because they don't want to be judged as, an alien.
Right.
This happened to me. It's like that lieutenant from the Air Force. He came up and says, I'm going to tell you what happened. He talked about a UFO when he was flying a B-52 bomber. Now, B-52 is no small plane.
Well, think about what you see in the sky. Some things we can see more. We have no idea what's going on beneath.
There are
the
things
ocean.
up there that happen down here, and they go like this. That
We have no idea what's going on.
houses underground, apartments.
if you look at all the footage that's coming out of NASA right now about Mars, about the oceans and this and that, one day they're going to find a candy bar wrapper up there, and we're going to know that that's where we used to be.
Well, Russ sent me something very interesting this morning about the moon, which I am aware of, but it was really interesting. I don't know if you want to mention
Tell them what I
it.
sent you.
Okay, I listened to some of it this morning. It's just that the moon itself, and I had heard this from my guide from many years ago, Aldo, that it is man-made. I mean, not everyone is going to believe this. Most people aren't. But what you sent to me that someone had mentioned, that there is a lot of things going on in the moon. It's like hollow, and it's like what we would call like
It's a base.
it's a base up
command
there.
center. It's a
And
command
to me,
center.
because I have done a lot of study.
Yeah, they put it there about 40,000 years ago. Some
Yeah.
entities in the universe put it there. So that there are many, many, many different entities occupying that command center, that observatory, if you will. So they watch over Earth and they meet and the whole 9 yards. The moon does not rotate. You only see one side of the moon.
That's what you keep saying.
But if you want more information, you can always Google it. You could go to Dr. Stephen Greer. He's a masterful insight researcher on all of this, and he goes on and on. It's so much. It really is so much. The aliens are here, and many, 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 many tons of aliens are here on the planet. They've been here. They've been among us. They're not going anywhere, so we got to get used to it.
And I think,
But
you
the
know, just-
revelations are coming out. Go ahead.
No, what I was going to say, it does take a lot of thought. I mean, I myself realized what happened to me many years ago. And it was hard to believe it, but the more you hear this and the more that it's brought out into the general public, we begin to understand a little bit more. For anybody that's listening saying, what are they talking about? I think the more that we expose this and the more that people are understanding more, they're going to look into it more, Russ. Don't you agree?
Oh, yeah, it's
Because
gonna
for
happen.
me, and I had gone to many different places.
It's going to happen in big numbers from the next 5,
It was
10,
hard to
15
accept,
years.
but I
Well, in
think
2024, they're going to release, they have to, by law, they're going to release a lot of the secrets.
A little bit.
But they're going to release a lot of it because they have to, not because they want to. Because if you don't have an explanation for something, you don't know how the public is going to react. So
I think we're only going to get the need to know. We need
no,
to know
they're
something.
they're not going to be able to do that. Now, I'm going to give you mine. When I was in high school, when I was 14, and I've never told this to anybody, I was living in Puerto Rico, and we used to live in the rainforest. And across from me, you could see Yunque, which is the largest island in the Caribbean. And it's covered with clouds. And on this particular evening, there wasn't a cloud to be seen. It was clear as a bell. And there was a light that I thought was a helicopter. So all my friends from the vicinity came over and they said, it was far. I said, what the hell is that? And it started to come towards us. So you would think a helicopter, it could frame up and do whatever, right? So we're sitting there, in those days, we didn't have phones. We didn't have cameras on the phones. We didn't even have a phone. And I'm looking at this thing, and we're looking at this thing, and we saw it for an hour, and all it was doing was going back and forth. The next thing, it disappears. Like it shot out of hell and then disappears. And everybody that was standing, this has been 8 of us, we all look at each other, and we go, what the hell was that? So I went and got my dad, I went and got my mom, got my uncles, and they said to me, what are you guys drinking? I mean, we were in high school, we weren't drinking or anything. We had seen it. And ever since then, I started to read books about the Bermuda Triangle. Because I was in Puerto Rico, and I'm thinking, I got to go through it to go to New York. Wait a minute. I don't know what the hell is going on here. And I started to learn about some of the changes in atmospheric pressure, in electromagnetic changes in that region of the Earth. How certain things work and don't work. And I will never forget that day. So every time I see you guys, it reminds me, I didn't tell anybody that story. I told my parents, but I never told my friends. I never shared that with nobody because I didn't want to be considered crazy. But if you talk to enough people about things that they've seen, and the higher the altitude, Colorado, I got a lot of friends out there that tell me stories. You ain't going to believe what I saw. You know, there's no magic. There's no mystery. There's something going on.
Right.
We just ain't got an answer to it yet.
The power of the universe. You know, we talk about it all the time, the power of the universe, universal laws of attraction. It's not just the words. It's truly the power of the entire universe and what that brings forward.
And with the people that come forward to use
But
it.
like we say, manifesting, manifest wisely. Use the power of the universe wisely and responsibly. Because if you don't, you see what happens
chaos
on the other side.
Well,
The
there's
other side.
enough chaos
You have
right
to
now to
respect-
go around.
Respect.
You can make a
respect it.
chaos sandwich right
But
now.
you got to respect the souls. you
Yeah, I
gotta
was going to
respect-
say that. We need to treat it with respect and also understand that
We
maybe
just
there
added
is
another
more.
5 souls to what's down there. you
Yeah,
know?
well,
I mean,
yes. I mean, there's a lot that can be learned from that.
you know, don't run into a train and think you're going to walk away. That's all I'm saying. Just don't do something stupid and expect to get away with it. You can't.
Sally, any messages for the weekend?
No, not really.
Nothing from the
Just
guides
everybody
or
have.
angels?
Well, I came through with a
you
lovely
did.
message for us, so let's take note of that. That's
Sally's
kind
book
of
is coming out soon, the
Yeah.
second edition of Call Me Zena. And from that, I think we're going to be launching a whole marketing campaign and
Absolutely.
a movie.
that was my message. I see it now. I see it loud and clear.
We're going to have some rough weather. I might tell you something. That's another thing I wanted to talk to you about. All of a sudden, the rough weather, the tornadoes, electrical charges are coming out of thin air. This has just gotten
We need to talk to
ridiculous.
Frank, too.
We need to talk to a few people. That's why I wanted Linda Summers to come down, because she's a meteorologist. I want to talk to the other guy, our friend from Channel 12. Something is not right the way things are right now. And it just doesn't make any sense. You see the Atlantic has storm after storm after storm. It's because of the sand right now is going to the south. So we're not affected yet, but Puerto Rico is going to be affected. So where's all this coming
What
from?
do you think?
Well, listen, it's just beginning. It's more and more coming, a lot of disturbances, a lot of conflicts. It's going to continue.
It's going to get worse before it gets better.
Mom and Dad
Yeah.
spoke at the same time. Mic drop. There's nothing left to say. You heard that.
But to finish on a
They're
positive,
like you and me.
it will get better as long as we need to wake up, and it will get better.
Do you see this? It's like looking at ourselves over here.
Say good night, Lucy. We gotta go.
Good night, Lucy.
I'm
Thank
so
you all
done.
for joining us. Benfo Complete, Medicare Missy. More information, you can always check us out on our website at brooklyncafe.tv. Get your tickets for the J.C. Dreesen Show, July 21st at 7:30. Movies of Del Rey, events.amp2.tv.
Sally's show is
Monday night. Monday afternoon at 2:30. Call me Zena, a live studio audience.
Lights in the Night.
11 o'clock on Thursdays. Podcast. Check that out.
And you know, if you got questions, come to the studio. Ask them. They'll
We're
answer
going to
anything.
get quite a crowd here, I think, on Monday, so it'll be good at 2:30 in the
I love
studio.
having you guys back on set together. We've missed you.
It's good.
Welcome
It's
home.
good energy. Oh God.
Have
I'm
a
gonna
great
go take
weekend,
nap.
everyone. Stay safe, be kind to each other. Florida Love Show today at 3 o'clock. And we'll see you Monday, 9 a.m. drive time.
Don't be late.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's about it for today. Even though the show's over, the Brooklyn Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day from 12 to 2. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S. will bring you more good cheer next time. You can follow the Brooklyn Cafe on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show. We'll see you next time.